Hello and welcome back to 360 Sports. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm your host, Kylie Smith. Here alongside me is...
I'm Jacob Petrarca.
I'm Patrick Gray.
And I'm Luke Mascarenas.
Thank you. It's our first Frenzy show of 2025. We have so many headlines to talk about, so we're going to get right into it. First thing we're going to talk about is the NFL Pro Bowl is set to take place on Sunday. Many argue that the Pro Bowl has lost its value, and the amount of players that have opted out indicates that. What do you think the NFL should do to revitalize the Pro Bowl?
I'll start first. I think they have to bring back the game. Take away the skill games, take away this flag football game. You have to come back and bring the real game back and make it incentivized to players. Real money on the table for the winning team. Bring it back to Hawaii where they actually have a good time going. You know, it's not going to be in Orlando where all you can do is go to Disney or go to or Universal. Bring it somewhere people want to go and have a good time.
Well, I think it's a good point about adding the bonuses, but because especially considering most, you see it this year with 23 opt-outs, most NFL players wouldn't be willing to throw their body on the line for a meaningless game in February. So maybe a suggestion would be to replace the Hall of Fame game and have the Pro Bowl in August with the maybe the previous season's all.
I think when it comes to injuries, that becomes a little bit more of a hot button issue. The one discourse that I see happening online is that it doesn't have meaning anymore. Being a Pro Bowler doesn't mean anything.
Right.
I think that's still wrong. I still think it means something for your career to be a certain amount of times Pro Bowler. If you make a Pro Bowler a year. Now, granted, they're letting people in a little bit easier these days, like Josh Jackson made it the other year, which I don't.
Drake made Pro Bowler.
Drake made a Pro Bowler. Mac Jones was. That might not mean a lot for their career, but some of these guys that are 6, 7 times Pro Bowler, especially like D tackles, offensive linemen, I still think that means a lot. I believe that they should bring the game back. I think it was more fun for viewers to watch, and it made the players want to actually play in the game. Is when we want to watch it. Mm-hmm. So I think that's how you give it that importance back.
Yeah. And you have to, again, is incentivize them to actually play. Have the winning team really win a real prize. Because if you just have them in the game, will be what happened where they got rid of it, where it's just people who don't care about the game. Like, let's look what happened to the NBA All-Star game right now.
Right.
No one cares about that game.
Yeah, I think if they weren't to do a game due to injury and bring it back, I honestly wouldn't mind the flag football game because I think it drives in viewers, it gets kids inspired, gets them started young. I think it just brings a bigger meaning to it, but I just think this competition in itself
I think they also, with them switching
boring.
around, keep it in Hawaii. Yeah. I think everybody liked it there. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys remember old 2000s Pro Bowls, but they had the long toss, they had races, they didn't have dodgeball and all these silly games. I don't think any of us are interested in watching, but the long toss is like a competition between quarterbacks. So you can actually throw the ball the longest, and it was interesting to see who would win that.
Yeah, we want to see football skilled competitions.
Yeah, they can bring back dodgeball, though. Dodgeball is fun to watch. I've watched it every year for the last couple of years. It is pretty fun to watch. I can't lie.
I personally, I haven't seen it. Sorry.
Yeah, me neither. But
all right, moving on, we're going to talk about the Utah Hockey Club and how they announced that they're holding a in-arena fan vote to decide their name. The options are to remain as the Hockey Club, the Mammoth, or the Wasatch? What do you think the fans will select, and how have Utah played in their inaugural season?
They're going to choose Mammoth. I think everybody is accepting that they're going to choose Mammoth.
I like the. I think it's a nice gesture putting Wasatch up there. Wasatch. It's the native Ute name for Mountain Pass and would honor the indigenous connections for Utah, but. That's all well and good, but it's a tough name. It's a tough name to be hyped about if you're a fan. I think it's going to be Mammoth.
Although a mountain mascot, I said this before, I think
that would be pretty good.
But are you buying gear that says Wasatch?
No, but
let's be honest.
I think it should be Utah Freeze. That's kind
of hard. That's pretty tough.
That's a good pro.
They were Utah Yeti would have been great, but the cooler company said no for some reason.
That would have been great.
That could have been a sponsorship deal lined up right there.
Yeah, honestly, that would have been a good.
Often in professional sports now, we're not getting pro names. These don't sound like a professional sports name.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll take a while for us to get used to them sounding like a pro name. But still to this day, Commanders just doesn't sound like a pro name, and I've heard talks of them wanting to change it. But these they don't have that ring where it connects.
Well, are they not pro names to you because you didn't grow up with them? All the teams that are pro names.
No one has really, because all these names, there's no history behind.
But that's exactly. No one thinks they're real names because no one grew up with them. No one knows what they really mean.
That's a good point.
Every name that you grow up with, you think of as a real name because that's what it's been your whole life.
Right.
I don't know. Mammoth just sounds a little silly. It's not mammoths. You can't
really put it as mammoths.
You can't. You put it as a singular thing, and it just doesn't sound right.
But it will sell well, and that's all that really
matters.
matters.
I would love a cute mammoth mascot.
Snuffleupagus.
I
Good
do
call.
like the idea of the in-stadium vote. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Instead of
leaving
just,
it
like,
up
Power
to
to
the
the
fans.
fans.
over
Yeah.
an online instead of like leaving it over like online or something. But
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it makes
You
the
can
fans
vote
feel
online
something.
too. I voted.
You voted?
Yeah, on The
Nice.
Athletic, you can vote.
oh,
Vote
really?
for the Mammoth.
Can you write
Cool.
in your own name?
No. It's
Ah,
like 3 options. That's it.
Utah Pats isn't going to happen. I'm sorry.
it would have been a good name.
Yeah.
So what about their season? Have we looked into that? How are they doing?
I mean, they're doing okay. They're on pace to finish slightly better. You got to remember they were the Coyotes last season. Technically, I know they have a new history now, but the Coyotes had 77 points last season. Utah's currently got 50 points in 50 games. That's on pace to finish with 82. I don't think their playoff chances are very good, but I think they're improving. I think they'll
And with
Yeah.
a new name, it's going to make all the difference.
definitely.
Exactly.
Okay, so a lot of us have been waiting to talk about this, specifically Luke. We had the final UCL match day within the league format. What are your thoughts on this format, and what teams do you think can win the Champions League?
Oh, so I'll start us off. Yesterday was awesome. You had 18 games all at once, and out of the 36 teams, I want to say 18, 19 were fighting to either play in or get a bye or something like that in the next round. And the format's great. Each team's playing new games. They're newer format. People are getting used to it, but it's nice. And then especially you get top 4 clubs, not surprised, but then you get a lot of different finishes, like Lille coming in 7th place, which would not have happened in the old Champions League format.
Yeah.
Especially like Juventus finishing 20th, Man City finishing 22nd, and then you have like a team like Aston Villa in 8th. It's
Yeah.
cool to see the new teams start in different places.
That's what I had. I think it's interesting seeing these teams who you would quote unquote say like are worse teams getting higher up ranks and higher up spots against these teams that are so historically well known for winning these championships. So I like that part of it. And I just, how many teams are there total? Did we figure that
36.
out?
36 teams.
So the only thing that gets me about this playoff thing is that does the regular season mean anything?
Yes.
The
How?
regular season always
So
means
teams 36.
If they all get in.
If teams 36 through 25 are done, they're out of the competition. They play no more games in the Champions League. No more money for them. Absolutely done. Now coming in, we have teams 24 through 9 who will now be fighting in a knockout stage right now to get to the regular Champions League format.
Okay.
So these teams will all play one game against each other, and then the winner of that game will move on onto the bracket play. And once you get to the bracket play, that's when it'll be the normal Champions League format that we remember from the last how many years.
Right. Yeah.
And that'll be,
forever.
one game here, one game there, aggregate wins.
Okay.
I gotta say, this is the most excited I've been for a Champions League. I'm a Liverpool fan. For
Oh, yeah.
5 years now, we've been in misery because we're supposed to be this team, and we haven't been. We keep losing it at the end of the season, and now we're finally that team that's able to compete to actually win the Champions League. We're favored right now, more than Barca. Lewandowski should get off the screen. He hasn't done anything. So it's fun for me. Arsenal hasn't been that team. They keep crushing my hopes every single year, and I live with an Arsenal fan, and it's hard to do so when you're a Liverpool fan. So I'm excited to finally watch.
I mean, I was initially hesitant about the 24 out of 36 teams making it, but once once I understood the playoff format a little bit better, I think that's good. It's not like the NBA where 80% of the league makes it, and the teams that don't can still be in the league next season. Personally, I was looking at some of the teams I think have the best chance. I think Inter looks really dominant. They've only allowed 1 goal in the 8 games, so they look pretty good. Arsenal's got a 16-3 goal differential. Both of those teams look really dominant. So I know you're a Liverpool fan. Obviously,
Arsenal's still a little banged up at the moment too. They still have injuries.
Their best player is not playing right now.
And Salah's best player in the world.
And I mean, I'm looking at Barcelona, 28-4 and 13 against. There's just no defense in Barcelona games.
But Barcelona, I mean, they have scored 101 goals in 18 or 19 matches in La Liga this season.
Yep.
Which is an obscene number. Their attacking trio of Rafinha, Lewandowski and Lamine Yamal, the best teenager to touch the planet, apparently. They have what, 70 plus goals and assists this season? That does not come without.
The only thing that bothers me at Barcelona is I saw them last year and what they weren't able to do last year in the Champions League. And yeah, it's a new roster. That defense still looks just as bad as it was last year. And in games where they got blown out in certain games of the Champions League last year, that's what scares me about the Barcelona. Yeah, they can score the ball, but what if other teams can't?
Yeah, but last year they also had Xavi Alonso coaching, and this year they have Hansi Flick.
I know.
It's whole different
I know the setup
philosophies
are
there.
still, but the defense is still very similar as it was last year, and it's still just as bad.
Okay. So now we are going to move on. Obviously, 2025 has just begun. We have to talk about 2024 a little bit. we want to talk about the new year is upon us with so many different sports and memories, but let's talk about the past and about your guys' favorite moments from the 2024 sports season.
All right. I'll bring us to the board first. All right. So coming to the board, my top pick of 2024 had to be by far the Euros. Watching the Euros, you had some of the best teams in the world play. Teams like France, Spain, Germany, England, top talents in the world. Players like Lamine Yamal coming out and performing for their country. We ended up with a final of England v Spain, where unfortunately Spain won off a great goal from Inaki Williams and Fermin Lopez, I believe. Oh no, Danny Olmo scored that second goal to win it. But overall, a summer of just games all the time. You know, you turn on, you wake up at 12, you have any game you want to choose from. It was a great time with a lot of good memories.
Love it.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of this rickety chair. All right. Oh,
Sorry.
I gotta get back into this rickety chair.
So my 2024, pretty rough overall. Not gonna lie. I'm a Boston fan, so Celtics winning was pretty nice. Bruins losing again to Florida, tough. NFL kind of run by Patrick Mahomes right now, and college football. Come on, Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan last national champions. But one moment I really loved was Juan Soto's 3-run home run in Game 5 of the ALCS that sent the Yankees to their first World Series in 15 years. My first as a fan. After years and years of getting owned by the Astros in the ALCS, it was finally nice to see the Yankees get over the hump. Hopefully next year they can beat somebody that doesn't play in the American League Central. That'd be nice. We only have one series against those teams, and that was Oakland in 2018. A wild card game doesn't really count. But yeah, I mean, it sucks that Juan Soto's gone, but hopefully the Yankees can rebound in 2025 without him.
Now, Pat.
Now,
Pat.
Now, Pat
Really,
can go.
okay.
Watch out. The chair's a little rickety.
Yeah, I know. All right. I'm now a senior in college. I've been going to Penn State for 4 years now. It has been difficult to do so because I've had to watch this team underperform year in and year out. That's why I chose the Fiesta Bowl. We finally this year have a team that we can sink our teeth into and actually enjoy football for the first time. Although the defense had its problems all years. I was up and down with the defense. I didn't know what was going to go on with them. The Bowling Green game left a sour taste in my mouth throughout the whole year. The Ohio State game, that last drive didn't look good. This game, we dominated on defense, which was fantastic to watch because we haven't seen it all year. We get 3 turnovers, 2 pick sixes. It was just a fun game to watch, and you should be excited for next year. I know people say it was a disappointing season. You're out of your mind if you think this was a disappointing season. It was nowhere close to that. We made it to the semifinal of the college football playoff. So that's why it's my favorite moment of the year.
Okay. Last, let me get out of this chair. Okay. I think one of the best moments of 2024 was Shohei Ohtani becoming the only member of the 50-50 club. We know that's 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases. And mind you, this is while he just joined a new team. He hasn't played for this team before, and he led them to a World Series championship, all with an elbow injury. So I think that he had an insane season. What he did was insane. So that was my top moment.
And he's getting paid $700 million.
And he's getting paid $700 million.
But not all that at once.
Holland just got a big contract.
Oh my God. 9.5 years?
Yeah.
What does he get? Is it 130 million?
130 million. I
A
think
year?
he has. I think he makes the most per year now in sports.
No, Cristiano Ronaldo does at 280
Oh,
million
yeah, I
a year.
forgot
At
he makes that
Altus
much.
here. Come on.
Okay, now we're going to be playing Sports Trivia. This segment will feature some of the weirdest sports history that may or may not be true. We will be tasked to determine if these sports moments are truth or fiction.
Interesting.
The 1925 NFL champions were the Pottsville Maroons. They would be stripped of the title after playing Notre Dame in an exhibition game. Fact or fiction?
That's a fact.
This is a fact
It was handed to the Chicago Cardinals. This is a fact.
because they were embarrassed that they lost to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
What they said.
I trust.
Yep.
Fact.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good team effort there.
Let's go.
Ridiculous. Good team, Pottsville, back in the day.
A
Good
baseball
squad.
game in 1893 ended with a score of 2.5 to 2. This happened because a player cut the ball in half, hitting a home run with an axe. I'm sorry.
I feel like that's
I want to
fiction.
believe this is true.
I feel like
So
that's
you know what?
fiction because I feel like I've spent hours and hours and hours in baseball history. I feel like I would have heard about this.
Imagine Paul
I
Bunyan
feel
getting
like
up to bat.
I feel like if this
Paul
is a
Bunyan?
fact,
Yeah.
I will be sad for not having learned this before.
You're saying
I'm
someone
going fact.
I
came
think
in
this
with
is
an
fiction.
axe and was like prepared to do that.
I'm,
It was
I'm saying
1893.
fact, just so
Yeah,
that
there
I
were
can
no
kill my
rules.
dreams
There
of
were
this
no
happening
rules.
as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Come on.
I think this is true.
I'm going fiction.
I have.
I'm going fact.
Okay, let's see.
Ah.
Yes, that was a little too crazy.
Well, it's
That was true.
Imagine.
Imagine.
That'd be
Yeah.
my
Just
favorite.
comes out with an axe instead of a
That
bat.
story getting told at every dinner party I have. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that.
That. I would never let anybody stop hearing about that.
No,
I would find out
that's for
every
sure.
single detail.
That is for sure.
Former Ohio State quarterback Cardale Jones visited a child in a hospital and played him in NCAA 14. Jones beat him 91-35.
That's
This is fact.
That sounds true.
That is a
That's
fact.
real.
I have
That is a
seen
fact.
that story. You know,
That's
the only
real?
reason it might not be true is because I
Wow.
think he might have beat him by even more.
hey,
I want to
Oh,
say it was
man.
like 144 or something.
don't ask to play if you can't actually play.
As Cardale Jones basically said, is I don't lose. If
Hey,
he
you
wanted,
don't-
he wanted to play a game, I wasn't going to let him win.
Oh, fiction.
See, I told you
98
the
to
only
30
way.
Oh,
you
yeah,
can-
yeah.
98 to
more.
35.
I
Oh,
told
it's
you.
higher. All right.
98 to
That's insane.
I would do the
No,
exact,
no,
I would
see,
do
he
the exact same
tweet
thing.
about that to correct.
And he tweeted it. He was like,
He's
no, it's 98.
No, it's 98 35.
And there's a minute and a
Come on.
half left in the fourth. All right.
How do you guys think you do against him?
What, Cardale Jones or the kid in the
NCAA
hospital?
14 or NCAA 25?
I mean,
That
If-
depends.
no.
Same in
If
the
he
same
won 98 35, I have no chance. I have no chance.
Well, I mean, how old was this kid?
I don't know.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Okay, we're senior bowling. The Reese's Senior Bowl and the East West Shrine Bowl are set to take place this weekend. Who are some college players you could see their NFL draft stock skyrocket after this game?
I have three as of right now. I have Jackson Dart, who I think is a first-round talent. I don't get the hate behind Jackson Dart. I think he may be the best quarterback in this draft. He makes NFL throws more than Cam Ward, more than Shadur Sanders does. Shadur's a little accurate, but he holds on to the ball a little too long, can't sense a pocket. Granted, his
Pat, what are we
O-line
talking
was
about
back.
here?
Jackson Dart is a fantastic player. There's no way you can deny that.
I didn't say he wasn't, but the best QB in the class, he's better than Cam
I
Ward.
said maybe. I didn't say definitely. I said maybe. Anyway, Tez Johnson is the other guy who's very undersized at the moment, but he's having a great time. He's having a great couple of days at the Senior Bowl right now. The other one's Mike Green, who I think everybody knew
Yep,
was an
Mike-
animal, but you just see clips out of them. He's plowing over other first round picks.
I mean, he ran through the Oregon right tackle like he
Yeah,
wasn't
He's
there.
a projected first
Mike
round
Green
pick.
has already pulled out of practices. He is done with the Senior Bowl. He knows his stock is high enough. He is done. My second person I have so far right now is Anthony Belton. He's the O tackle. I believe he's from Miami. He's 6'4", 245. Little, I guess you could say, undersized for being a tackle, but he is a dog. You watch his film. You see him in these drills. He's getting hands on people. His footwork is superb. He is good. He will be a good, probably guard in the league because he's a little too small to be a tackle.
Yeah, I was just going over the rosters. Shadur Sanders, obviously, he's not playing. I was shocked to see him on the roster, and then I did some further digging, and he's not playing. So that's probably smart. I mean, he's guaranteed to be a top 5 pick in the draft. Dylan Gabriel is Dylan Gabriel playing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
believe
he's
so.
playing.
Yeah,
He's been playing well.
yeah. I mean, he's got to get over that Ohio State loss somehow. So
I think his problem is just size. He's just
yeah.
a small guy. Doesn't have a giant arm.
Yeah.
It's hard at that position.
just gonna give a shout out to Jalen Kimber and Sal Wormley from Penn State for making the Shrine Bowl team.
I like the Shrine Bowl too, but the Senior Bowl is just.
Objectively more cool.
I love this time of year. People don't like after kind of in the NFL. I love
Right.
the pre-draft process. I think it's so much fun. You learn about these players coming into the league, and you get to watch them grow,
Yeah.
and you get to see if your predictions are actually right. People are downplaying this draft, which I think is actually solid in a lot of areas. I think offensive line, it's very deep, and I think edge, it's very deep. Also at linebacker, I think it's a very good draft.
I think it's a good running back class too. You
Oh,
see,
it's one of the best.
I mean,
running back classes
we
of
had a
all time.
resurgence of the role running back in the league this year, just from Saquon and what Derrick Henry were able to do. But I think this is a very well-talented running back draft with is it Travis Etienne instead of Trevor? Which one's in the league?
Trevor Etienne. Travis is in the league.
Trevor Etienne, who's phenomenal. I mean, obviously Genty, Scadaboo, GOAT.
That's who I had.
Oh no, I not because he's a good player. He's my favorite player.
He was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, did you
That run
all
was
watch the
so much
Texas
fun.
game? That was
That
That
was
throw
a
in the
good
Texas game was amazing.
I
mean,
think
it's
he
just-
could solidify himself as one of the best running backs in the class.
He's not fast. I
He's
want
gritty,
him to be
man.
because I really like the guy.
Yeah.
He's not that fast. Doesn't identify a hole
He's
very well.
He's gritty.
He's gritty.
Hard working. He'll study the playbook.
Not a good route runner. I know, but I really like Omarion Hampton from UNC. I like Ty Simpson from Tennessee. So I think Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson, I also think are good backs. Sadly, I know I don't want to give Ohio State any credit. But I like this draft.
I think it's pretty solid. Yeah.
Top 10's a little weak. I'll say
Yes.
top 10's a little weak.
I think just depth wise, it's good. Star power, it's lacking.
Okay.
We're just going to do some game predictions, actually. So first one, we got 7 LSU versus 13 Oklahoma women's basketball.
LSU.
Flau'jae
I'll
Johnson.
take LSU.
Yeah,
Bet
I'll
on
take
her.
LSU.
I can't bet against LSU women's team. They
Simple
year
as
in
that.
and year out they deliver. So I would have to go with them.
Yeah.
Flau'jae is tough too. Simple as that.
So next we got 12 Alabama versus 12 Kentucky versus 22 Alabama.
In men's basketball or women's
Women's?
women's basketball?
I would take Kentucky.
I'll take Kentucky.
Give me the Tide.
Yeah,
I like the Tide.
I
Yeah.
like the Tide. I like their men's team right now, so I'm going with their women's team.
Yeah.
I have some
I'm
friends
not
that go to
super educated on
Alabama,
this.
and I don't have friends that go to Kentucky, so Tide it is.
Right.
Yeah, so next we got 19 Cal versus 15 UNC.
Oh, UNC.
Yeah, Tar Heels.
I'm a Tar Heels fan for sure.
I don't like Tar Heels at
Bill
all.
Belichick
I love their
coaches there.
colors.
I rock with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take UNC.
Penn State men's basketball plays tonight.
Ohio
yeah.
Should
State
win. Big game.
and the Rec.
Yeah. In
Yeah,
the rack,
pretty
white
soon.
out. Should be big. We have an easy back half of the year, so hopefully we win this game and actually get a winning streak going.
Yeah.
Because we've been slumping as of late, and it's been hard to watch, especially for this team that started out so
Did
well.
beat Purdue though.
Did beat Purdue.
Rutgers.
We beat a lot of good teams.
Did beat Rutgers.
But we lose a lot of games that we shouldn't lose.
We lose a lot away, like when we're not in the rec.
Yeah, even when we're in the BJC, we don't win in games that we should be winning, which has been hard to watch. And I've gone to 2 of them. Luckily, I went to the Rutgers game, so that was a little easy to watch.
Mhm.
That was nice.
But we should be winning
It's
games.
still close though.
So much for your number 1 recruiting class in the country.
Now we got men's wrestling, Penn State obviously versus Iowa.
Penn
Penn
State.
State.
Penn State.
Penn State.
Penn
Okay,
State,
so-
but this will be
Wrestling.
such a good match. 1v2.
I still think you guys are underestimating how good this
Yeah,
Penn State
I
team. They're
just-
going to blow them out. This isn't as good as last year's team. Last year's team was death row. It was killers down everybody was a killer. They were nuts. This team might be just as good. They might break that points total that we won last year.
Yeah.
facts. Kara Shirachi's probably going to win the best wrestler in country.
Couldn't agree more.
I want to see how Kirk does this season. Obviously, Clark Gable's back. He is a 4-time national champion. Greg
Yeah,
couldn't beat him
Clark
when he was he was around, and he was gone for 2 years, but he's back now.
Love it.
Okay, so now we got number 11 Ohio State versus number 2 Michigan State hockey.
Michigan State.
I
It's
Yeah.
Michigan, man.
Yeah.
Just
I wish
assume
I
they're
could give you
good.
more information.
I mean,
They got players.
we
Probably
still got time. I think I got a story that would have made a good fact or fiction. I was thinking might have been on there. Can I tell it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it.
1919, Ray Caldwell is pitching for Cleveland, gets struck by lightning, and finishes the game.
I feel like you didn't just make that up. So.
No, that's I'm saying it would have been made for a good fact or fiction. I felt like I should mention
You
it.
got struck by lightning?
Yeah.
That's
Finished the
pretty
game.
impressive.
I would
Yeah.
finish the game too.
People
Obviously.
would
I mean, me personally, I would finish the game
It was,
and
it was
perfect
in the
game.
ninth inning. It was in the ninth inning.
Oh,
So,
what, he
yeah.
had a guy
Shut up.
struck him through the last pitch as he was getting struck?
Get a little juiced
Yeah.
up. Get a little juiced up.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing but a thing. You're fine. Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. 1919, to be fair, you just had like softball pitch it there,
Exactly.
and it was getting by.
When
him.
I was in Little League, my dad would send me right back into the game.
Yeah,
if I got
yeah.
struck by lightning. He wouldn't pull me for nothing. Dad, my arm hurts. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Get back in the game.
I can't see your bone. You're fine.
Yeah.
Get back out
If
there.
you're not bleeding, you're fine.
Bleeding's even like iffy.
Yeah.
It's really if like you can't see bone, then you're like, all right.
All right, now we got Penn State men's basketball versus Ohio State rec hall.
I think we all know who we're picking,
Yeah.
right? I think we're all pretty solidified here with picking Penn
Penn
State.
State.
Right?
But I'm nervous. I think that they've given me every reason to be nervous when it comes to these games. Ohio State's not bad. They don't
Yeah.
have the record to reflect it, but they've been playing good ball, and Penn State hasn't.
Counterpoint, they're Ohio State.
Ohio State has good seasons.
Yeah.
They're a better basketball program than Penn State
I'm
is.
saying, why are you going to pick Ohio State? Come on.
I know.
Right.
I'm not
Why?
saying I am
Why?
picking
Why?
Ohio
Why?
State.
Why?
I'm not saying I am picking
Don't pick
Ohio
them.
State.
Yeah.
Don't back me into it. I'm picking
Yeah.
Penn State.
All right.
I'm just saying
It's gonna
I'm
be
nervous.
close.
Yeah.
It's pretty even game. 12-8 against 13-8.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's all I got. But yeah, it should be good.
Penn State sports just
Penn
makes me
State.
nervous.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
That's a good
well,
point.
Yeah.
true.
I feel like you guys wanted me to pick Ohio State there, and that's not
I
fair.
just assumed you
I
were
never
gonna.
said that. You guys are putting words in my mouth.
I just got number 9 Marquette versus 25 UConn.
Men's
UConn
basketball.
25?
They're
Yeah.
25.
What happened to UConn?
Dan
Yeah,
Hurley
that's
has an
crazy.
ego
They were
problem.
What happened to
national
UConn?
champions
He's got an
2
ego
years ago.
problem. Dan Hurley yelled at a ref the other week
I
and
guess
goes,
if
"I'm the best
down to
coach in
25,
college
you got to
basketball."
pick Marquette.
Yeah, but is that believing in yourself or is that an
Yeah.
ego?
No, that's an ego thing.
Right.
If you're yelling at a ref saying
Especially
you're the
if you're
best
not
coach in
doing
college
good.
basketball,
That's an ego.
They also did win the Natty last year, though.
you won
so
2 straight.
They won 2 in a row.
Marquette.
But I'm going Marquette. I
Marquette.
have a friend that went to UConn for like a year, and he won't shut up about it, that he went to UConn for a year. So I'm going Marquette just so I can
Yeah.
see pain.
I know more people at UConn than Marquette. Let's go UConn.
You know what? I'm a New England guy. I'll switch over to UConn.
Wait, what was it?
Kings Lightning.
Tampa Bay. I have friends
Oh.
there in Tampa. I picked the Lightning.
Lightning because of the last story.
Yeah, I'll pick
Oh.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
I'm a Bruins fan. It's kind of hard to pick against the Lightning. So
Yeah.
beat us in the playoffs.
Who do you
a couple
got,
times.
I have no
Kylie?
idea. Lightning.
Yeah.
Because you just told a story about lightning.
Yep.
Yes.
It's a sign.
Okay, so now we're going to do Flyers Islanders. Flyers are hosting.
Oh, Flyers. Absolutely.
Flyers.
Flyers by
Yes.
1,000 goals.
Uh,
Matvey Michkov, game of his life.
I don't know who
Yeah,
anybody
give me the
is.
Flyers.
Yeah, Flyers.
I don't watch
Both
NHL,
teams
but
are
Philly.
kind of struggling, but yeah.
You want to talk about a team that's been disappointing me this year? Flyers. We had a giant collapse last season. I thought we were going to be better this season, and we're not now.
Yeah. Bruins need to figure it
Well,
out, man.
at least you
We're
got the
3
Eagles.
years out.
If you probably still
Bruins.
got the Eagles, though, right?
Yeah, I got the Eagles.
Yeah.
I can sleep tight
You
at
could be a
night.
Raiders
Definitely
fan,
still
and
got
that
the
sucks a
Eagles.
lot
I sleep
more.
well. It's fine. I do sleep well. Yeah.
I don't. I do not, being a Raiders fan.
All right, last but not least, Super Bowl.
Oh god.
Eagles.
The Chiefs
I
already
don't care.
won. The Chiefs already won. It's they're getting the Chief Pete shirts made right now.
You go, Pat. You go, Pat.
I think this is the most confident I've been in an Eagles team forever. I don't see a way that the Chiefs actually beat the Eagles. Outside of maybe the head coach, or well, definitely the head coach and the quarterback.
They have the league. They have the league, man.
That's not how the game of football works. You have a defense there too,
Right.
and the Eagles are the best. They have they have a Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
They have an AJ
Yeah.
Brown. We're better in all those positions. We're better on the offensive line. Maybe just barely, but we're better in every other position than the Chiefs, except for those two. And tight end, I would argue too, that we're better.
I mean, you could say the Eagles are better. I'd be shocked if the Chiefs don't win.
I'll tell you this now. I sat in this exact seat about 2.5 months ago, looking directly into that camera there, saying that the Chiefs doesn't matter. One possession game, this, that. They are the best team in football. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback that we've seen in the NFL. He's not the GOAT yet, but he will be the GOAT. He's the most talented. He has the best arm talent. And it's just simple. He's the best player to be on the field. He wins games. He will drive his team down the field. You could give him a team of deaf puppies and cats, and he would make that team work. So simply, I think he will be able to lead that team to a W.
I'm curious though. Who did you pick in the Eagles-Commanders game last week?
In the Eagles-Commanders game, I had the Eagles.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you were just an Eagles hater.
Oh
Sometimes it
no, I'm
happens.
not an Eagles
There's
hater.
so many.
I've just accepted the inevitable that Patrick Mahomes just does not lose in the playoffs. He's not allowed to.
So
He's also,
Next
again, the most talented quarterback we've
Yeah.
ever seen touch an NFL field, in my opinion, at least.
I really think that our offense, the Eagles' offense, will explode. And I think Saquon Barkley is going to do a lot, and I think we can get there. And I want to see Patrick Mahomes in the same way that we saw Jalen Hurts with the confetti coming down, walking out.
Nobody
Like, I
wants to
need
see
that picture recreated.
Nobody needs that.
Yes,
Also,
we need
I
that.
need that.
We need that.
well, it's not going to happen. I can't.
You want to see a smile on his face? I look at his smile. I need it.
I hate the Chiefs. I'm a Raiders fan, but just simply put, Patrick Mahomes, he's good.
Oh, the losing confetti. You want him in Eagles confetti.
Yes.
That's what.
No,
in that
yeah.
case, I agree with you. In that case, I agree
was
with
confused.
you. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah.
You ever seen Thanos where he's like, dread it, run from it?
Oh,
it all
yeah.
happens the same.
Zion
That's Patrick
inevitable.
Mahomes. He's gonna walk in. He's gonna have the ball
Until he
with
loses.
13
He's gonna get
seconds
his
left.
calls.
You know, they're gonna have one timeout, be 14 yards out of field goal range, dink it, dump it, timeout,
Yeah.
field goal win.
Guys, Pat Mahomes has lost a Super Bowl before. I don't know if you
That
guys
was to Tom Brady. Though.
Yeah.
I understand that. Tom Brady also lost the Super Bowls. It's not like these players are invincible. Like, it happens. They lose games.
Patrick
Eagles
Mahomes
beat
has
Tom
one
Brady?
loss in the
This-
last 13 months.
Thank you.
Patrick Mahomes has one loss in the last 13 months, and that's because the Bills
Last time
beat them
Jalen
in the
Hurts and
Chiefs.
Pat
That's
Mahomes
because
played.
the Bills beat the Chiefs in
Jalen
the
Hurts
regular
won.
season every year to make the fans think they have a chance in the playoffs, but they don't.
For the last time Jalen Hurts and Pat Mahomes played, Jalen Hurts won.
Yeah, and last time they played in the Super Bowl, who won? It's you know what I mean, like
January Mahomes is different than regular season Mahomes.
yeah,
For whatever reason. Like you could argue
because he's
a
realized
lot
he
of
doesn't have to
things.
care about in the regular season.
Exactly.
He'll
The
get his
regular
wins.
season,
And
it's like the Brady Patriots. The regular season is the preseason. The divisional round is the regular season, and then the conference championship and the Super Bowl are the actual playoffs.
And I don't get me wrong, I don't blame you. And Pat Mahomes might be the best, but Saquon Barkley is the second best player in football right now. too.
Agreed.
All right,
100%.
So what do we think? Final game score predictions.
I'm gonna say 30-27 Chiefs win.
Okay.
35-27 Eagles.
I have Chiefs 31, Eagles 28.
I have Eagles 32, Chiefs 28.
That'd be nice. Saquon Barkley game-winning touchdown, 96 yards. That'd be great.
Okay, well, we will find out in about 2 weeks, so we'll talk about it then. Thank you so much for tuning in to 360 Sports, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.